Hello and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI Tournament weekly broadcast. This is Nightcat. I will be your host for this week, and we have some very special games planned for today's cast. But first, we are starting off with a recommended game off the Basil ladder that includes Arias spawning as the orange Terran down at the bottom right of Andromeda, going up against Monster spawning as the white Zerg down at the bottom left. So Arias going ahead, or sorry, not Arias, Monster going ahead and doing an early drone scout along with its Overlord. No, its Overlord is not going out for the scout and just chilling at home, overlording the drones, making sure that they are doing what they should be doing here. And we've got Arias going ahead and building the barracks, and I don't believe there was any additional information with this recommended game, so I don't have any kind of heads up on what to really be looking for in this game. It's probably just a good game in general. So we've got the early expansion with the spawning pool going down here. Did not quite catch the timing of it. So we do have the scout from Arias arriving, sees the timing of the spawning pool, and now we have a third hatchery going down. So we've got a 3 hatchery play going on here. The first Zerglings are going to be coming out here. Meanwhile, Arias here, going ahead, and the location has been found by monsters. We just saw the drone go ahead and get killed. It is getting its factory just about to finish here. No other defenses though, just the one Marine. But Monster not really getting anything aggressive here, going ahead and getting 2 Zerglings. The other Zergling is off here checking out what was going on. We do have the first Vulture out now. Oh, and there is an Overlord, so that Overlord actually probably did go and scout, and then a second one was made. And I just did not catch this one going across the minimap there. It's one of the things with the OpenBW minimap is sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to see the little individual dots moving across it. So the SCV Scout getting picked off there. We have the Sunken down, which had to be made because of the Vultures. We do have the Zerglings nicely positioned to block any type of run by, and the Sunken nicely positioned to go ahead and defend the drones here. The lair is just finishing up, and we do have the Spire now coming down, so we're going to see some 3 hatch Mutalisk play coming out of Monster. Behind, or on the other side, we have Arias going ahead and jumping up to 3 factories now, and starting Goliath production to counter those Mutalisks. The name of the unit just completely escaped my brain there for a moment. We are also getting, it looks like, a vehicle attack upgrade for those Goliaths and Vultures there. We're also getting siege mines, so we'll be able to get some map present, well, not necessarily present, but some control without having to station active units there. The Mutalisks are now underway, though. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 all at once, and then a 9th one shortly thereafter. So good stashing of its larva there from Monster. And now the Mutalisks are out. They're going to go ahead and chase the Vultures away from the front, so that way the Zerglings can go ahead and leave their post of blocking up that ramp. Now we are going ahead and taking our third, having chased off the Vultures, but now we've run into the Goliath crew here, so not exactly able to do a whole lot, at least up at the front there. It could run around here, though, and force those Goliaths to come back and then sort of dance between the bases, but really focusing on this natural line here, which the Goliaths are well in position to defend. And then kind of coming here, there's a lot of space here that could have been harassed by Monster, but instead taking some heavy losses there with its escape route and sort of being forced back. We have another Vulture out here. There were a couple more they could do a run by if they chose, but really probably not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage in the end. A couple Zerglings coming out and clearing out some of those mines, so pretty good there for Monster. Going ahead and checking out this, doing a drone transfer here. I thought maybe we were going to see another expansion come up, but not quite. We do have a burrowed Zergling here blocking possible expansion if Arias does not handle that properly. We are also getting our lurkers now. So Monster going ahead and trying to clear out some of these Vultures that are just kind of checking out the map, seeing what's going on. We don't have any drones here currently because we had to build a couple of things, but looks like we've got a hatchery farming here. We had to get a sunken colony to protect here. And there was an attempt at a run by, it looked like, or it may have just been running away from the army, hard to tell because it was only the one that we saw, but it was quickly picked off by Monster. Monster has good map control right now. There are a few vultures out on the map, but really low in numbers. Going ahead and picking off some scouting zerglings and planting some mines of their own. So we've got both of the AIs here just sort of taking up positions and putting things in bases so that they can scout. And what's interesting here is these patrolling zerglings not quite getting close enough to trigger these mines, and the mines also sitting there blocking the base. So be interesting to see if these cause any issues for them. Up and that seemed like a late attack from those lurkers, so I don't know if maybe those lurkers were holding back or not, but now these vultures getting some kills because the zerglings can't. Oh, nice mine drag there. Pretty sure though, not sure if the mines or if the tanks actually caused that death there, but pretty good use of the zerglings. Gonna go ahead and back off really far. Now, Arias does have a very strong force here that I'm not quite sure if the current army of Monster will be able to handle or not, but defilers are now under construction, so I just heard a couple of consumes there, so this could be very bad for Arias if he lets this get into his choke. And now we do have the Zerg coming and rushing in. The tanks not being guarded by anything, losing 3 tanks there. That's gonna really hurt. We do have the Dark Swarms now coming down. But tanks can do damage under Dark Swarm. It doesn't take the direct damage of the shot, but the splash damage will still apply to the targeted unit. And now we have the Zerg trying to advance through the swarms. A lot of swarms coming down here. For Monster, the production, replacing those units very quickly, but not quite breaking this. This is going to be a really tough thing to crack here. Really needs to get the swarms on top of the Terran army too. Going ahead and taking out an SCV. It looked like there was an SCV trying to take this expansion that was getting stopped because of the burrowed Zergling. So now we've kind of got the Terran army trying to push out onto the map, but the Zerg army kind of coming from 2 different ways. Now joining into the one. And I don't know if this Dark Swarm's going to be quite enough to stop this Terran push just yet. While Monster has a really nice army composition that doesn't quite have the macro to get the swarm size that it needs. Arias' supply well above the Zerg's right now. Arias actually maxed out, now that I notice it. And yeah, there's a lot of swarms, but the army just not really in the swarms. And now they're getting in there. That's going to cause some problems for Arias. Arias really needs to back up here, but trying to fight through the swarm. Some of the mines being dragged into the tanks too, it looks like, which is not going to help. It's a very dangerous situation to see them, but these lurkers are out of position. They're not under the swarm, and then the swarm gets thrown down on top, thankfully saving them. And Monster just methodically pushing this back with all of this Dark Swarm. There's just so much of it here. A few Mutalisks here, they don't benefit from this swarm, but they are working on thinning the numbers of vultures. And now there's no more tanks out here for... and a nice vulture shot and mine taking out lurkers. Their lurkers trying to push forward without swarm. Not the great idea, losing those lurkers. But slowly this is... all those mines just go off for 3 Zerglings. Jeez. Slowly, this is going slowly more and more towards Arias' choke here. And just looking at the map here, yeah, there's an SCV that's trying to build a base here, but Arias just doesn't know what to do about that situation to clear that Zergling. And then here we have this massive Dark Swarm clouds just going down. But then the fighting again happening for a little bit outside of the cloud, which is a bit of a problem. Oh, and that Defiler getting caught there and taken out. Now Arias is pushing back, making its way. The thing is, when Arias is doing the pushing, it's going very quickly towards Monster's choke here. Whereas when Monster is doing the pushing, it's like slowly moving back. We really got to keep these 4 tanks alive. There's not many of them there. One of the science vessels getting picked off. There was a radiate there. I just heard a Defiler fall. There's a lot of action going on here. Monster is expanding too to the top right, it looks like, in the based on the mini-map here. But now Arias doesn't have really a whole lot of room to work here. Really needs to keep these swarms up. Needs to get the units under the swarm as well. Gonna lose another lurker and a second lurker here. There's a random swarm out here. I'm not quite sure how it got there. But yeah, it's looking like Arias is going to be able to just push into this natural now. Monster just not quite having the macro that it needed to be able to push through this. Maybe needed to take another base or two before this push came. Looked like Monster might have been able to push this back into Arias' face for a little bit. Like it was going to turn it around, but just quite not able to sustain that push. And really, I mean, a choke of this size for a Terran is going to be very hard to push into. Now, Arias, even though its expansion taking was thrown off there by the burrowed Zergling, and I don't see any other bases for Arias coming up. Trying to scout around again with the vultures now that it's got essentially the map control. I'm going to go ahead and clear out the rest of the monster base. Let's speed this game up just a little bit here as we are in the cleanup phase at this point, but very well played by both of them. I love seeing the Dark Swarm play of Monster. It is very good with its usage of it. There's just some issues where sometimes some of the units are a bit exposed as it's trying to move forward, but overall great play from both of these bots. It really was looking like Monster was going to win for a short bit there, but Arias able to hold on. So let's go ahead and jump into game number 2 of today. And so for this next game that was posted in the replays channel, this is one of the special games that I was talking about. This was played on the Snail ladder and should work with StarCraft Remastered and playing the replay, so I'm giving it a try here. But this is played again on the Snail ladder, or I don't know if it was a ladder game or not offhand, but our Terran player here named Snail is actually Firebat hero, playing up against, spawning in the top right of Fighting Spirit as the blue Terran, and we have Monster spawning as the red Zerg down in the bottom right here. So Monster going to go ahead and do a quick drone scout here and find Firebat hero here. Going to go ahead and chase the drone around here, try and get that drone out and then block it. And very nice block there. The drone trying to get back in, not able to do so. I'm going to go ahead and scout with that SCV as well as the first barracks finishes up. Monster going ahead and doing, I think, the same build that we saw last time. So we see the the spawning pool here, along with the natural hatchery. We'll probably see a third hatchery get started pretty soon. First scout location was wrong, and so Firebat here, we're going to go ahead and scout with the second SCV here. And as I believe Chobo mentioned on the last cast here, Firebat hero, he streamed these games live on his Twitch channel, which is why we were able to know that that was him playing despite the name Snail here. So very nice block here on the ramp with the 4 Marines while getting a supply depot down there. We do have the one Zergling coming down here. I'm going to go ahead and force that Zergling back while I believe that's a bunker finishes up. Getting ready to load that up. A few more Zerglings finished, then we see the unnecessary morph of the creep colony into sunken colonies that we see happen often with Zerg AIs, which is a better safe than sorry approach, but really, like, that's 100 minerals that could have been used elsewhere, and the Terran didn't have to do a single thing to sort of force that sunken to be made. Nice little pushback of the Zergling there, trying to catch that Zergling that's sitting out there off guard. Going to be hard to do that, though, with an AI. Now the AI going ahead and patrolling around, scouting around, seeing, keeping tabs on everything that is happening while going ahead and getting the Spire. We do have a stim pack being researched here. A couple of medics out. And pretty soon here, the comm stats are going to finish. So we'll just view Firebat Hero's perspective really quick to see if those scans go off. And yep. So there we see the scan going off, seeing the state of the natural, seeing that the spawning pool is there. So going ahead and coming down to pressure, there's only the 2 forward sunkens and then the one kind of far back. Gonna try and force some production here of perhaps Zerglings, but we have the 9 Mutalisks already underway. They're gonna have to deal with this Marine medic force out here. before they can try and go back. But very nice Muta control here, taking out the Marines. Also, I should probably preface too that this is one of the games that I have not watched. So he did at least 2 broadcasts where he played on the Schnell ladder, or through the Schnell app. And yeah, so the Mutalisk is able to clean up that force pretty well, and then going ahead and coming into the main here. I saw all of the games from his perspective for the first broadcast, and this is from the second broadcast, which I have not seen. So this game is new to me. Gonna go ahead and load up, or stim, and then load up the bunker. And I'm trying to get some kills there, but taking some hits, losing some units, and having to fall back with some of them to give them a chance to heal. So good Mutalisk control there. Trying to find an opening. Picked off a SCV there, but has to be careful that it doesn't dive in too far and get trapped. So I like that it backed off instead of trying to run this way and then running into these turrets there. So very nice awareness there. Going to go ahead and fall back here. It is getting its 3rd base now. So something that I saw from another game between Firebat Hero and Monster is that it seems like Monster, and also in the last game that we just watched, Monster seems to be a little bit slow to expand sometimes. And so that can kind of come back to bite it when it doesn't have quite the macro that it needs to really take advantage of, you know, it's what it should have and be able to push back against the Terran. Firebat here trying to get some map presence here. Does have, he's also checking, not sure exactly where those scans are going off, but could be checking for if monsters taken certain expansions, or, you know, just checking what the tech level. So there we just saw a scan up at the front, seeing the large amount of Zerglings. Monster aware that these Marine medics are here because it does have the burrowed Zergling, just sneakily staying there under the Terran army. So Firebat here has given himself some space. Also, nice, got the 2 drop ships here. Monster is trying to take this bottom left, and Firebat here is going to sneak in here, but going to get seen. The army quickly coming back to go ahead and try and clean this up. Going to take out a good number of Zerglings, but not really going to do much economic damage there with that particular drop. And now these guys are getting caught off, being forced to fall back a little bit here, and nice swarms forcing the units back. It looks like Firebat Hero was trying to take this expansion, did clear out that Zergling, but now the swarm's just pushing this force back. And see, that's very nice. If Monster had got swarms like that in the last game that we watched, I think it really could have turned the tide against Arias. But yeah, so Firebat Hero having to move down here. He does have the science vessels out now, so he can try and pick off those defilers. Sees the drone transfer here, so he knows, okay, there must be the expansions down there. I think if I do... Oh, actually, no, I don't think he's seen those yet, but he has seen the transfers into that direction there. So now the Monster trying to deal with this little bit of force that's here, which will be enough to handle some small packs. But yeah, being forced to pull back because, again, of that dark swarm there. Something that I have not seen Monster use, and I don't think it's capable of using quite yet, is Plague. Plague could probably be a very deadly addition to its army control here. Nice forcing the army back here with those. Is going to get an irradiate off on the defilers. So that kind of peters out the push here, while it's going to have to go ahead and get some more defilers. We have 4 on the way now. So really this army, it really should not engage, and good, it does not engage here because it just does not have the defiler support that it needs to handle this. And now we've got the Firebats in the mix, which can do damage underneath the Dark Swarm with its splash damage. Now we do have the defilers, and nice, really good irradiates there. Very quickly executed there by Firebat Hero. And here we have good map control happening here for Firebat Hero. He's been able to take this base up here for his 3rd, and it looks like he's getting a 4th established over here on the left. And really, see where Monster's going to try and go now. Monster has taken over this 3rd base as well. Or not 3rd, but this 4th base. Could also take this natural, I feel, and set up some defenses here. We do have an engagement here again in the middle of the Dark Swarms falling and are going down. Here, yeah, the Irradiate's just picking off those defilers. So that's something that I don't think we saw much in the last game against Saida, was these science vessel swarms just picking off those high gas expensive units, the lurkers, the defilers. And yeah, there's no defiler in this army that I can see, and it's going to try and push up this hill. Might be able to actually clear that if it did invest in it, but it's going to take some losses. And then up trying to see if it can do something here, but there is the bunker there again. That's going to cause a problem. But really now it's... Okay, we do have the defilers in here, so now it is pushing up while these lurkers are going ahead in here. So nice 2-base attack here, but now Firebat Hero is pulling in the army. This Zerg army is trapped. It's also trying to expand here, which is kind of funny. Now it's... This army here is being pushed back. There are the lurkers that are up here, though, so that's going to be a problem. They're not able to run away fully, so going to be able to clear that army up. Firebat Hero, though, does have some more Marines coming up here, so going to be able to clear this out pretty soon. Did have to lift the command center there. But yeah, going to go ahead and do an irradiate on that lurker, but I'm going to have to lift this base here, too. So losing this temporarily, but has a nice-sized force. So I'm not too worried about the state of things for Firebat Hero just yet. But Monster is taking more of the map, like I had said it needs to do. So this could, in the long run, be a little bit of a problem. Now, Firebat Hero seeing an opening here to try and move in and attack, but the army coming up behind, being forced to push this forward, but not taking out at least a sunken colony. But no, this army needs to move forward. Okay, never mind. It doesn't need to move forward. There were mutilisks there that I didn't see that. I ended up cleaning up the last little bit there. Meanwhile, we do have a push here. Monster very low on minerals, very good at spending its minerals and gas right now. But the Hydralisks are not really what you want to see fighting. You want to be turning those into lurkers. Nice Dark Swarm there being thrown down. Not really much happening with it, though. That Defiler getting caught. And now we have more swarms, and then the army's backing off here a bit. And then it looks like Firebat Hero might have been thinking about taking that base, but not really quite able to do so because of the Zergling again. And then his army out here trying to push this Zerg. I don't think we've seen... Okay, I was about to say, I don't think we've seen Ultralisks yet, but here they come now, the Ultralisks, and then Firebat Hero is going to give the GG to Monster. So very, very exciting game there. I'm going to pull this back just a tiny bit if I can. So that way we can just kind of take a look at the map here. There we go. So this is like right before the GG when the Ultralisks start to come in. So yeah, not a whole lot going on. Firebat Hero down to 1 mining base. So yeah, not going to be able to really produce much. And the Zerg really has the control at this point. Does have this base up here, but not going to be able to keep it for long. There's a good army positioned here to take that out, and he had just lost the bulk of his army. But it's a very good game here. To be honest, I did not expect Monster to win this in the end, but so awesome to see Monster pulling out a win. Very great usage of the Dark Swarms as well. Those Dark Swarms are all connected, and the army can just keep running up it, and the Terran army has to keep running back. It's very, very scary. And I think our next game is actually going to be another Firebat Hero game up against the AIs. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And so for third game here today, we have Firebat Hero spawning as the red Terran down at the bottom right of the map. I think this is Fighting Spirit. Going up against Purple Wave, spawning as the white Protoss down here at the bottom left. Purple Wave going ahead and throwing down its pylon, and then going to go ahead and scout. And then Firebat Hero getting the supply depot placement that goes ahead and bumps the spawning SCV a little bit closer to the minerals. And gonna go ahead and build his first barracks. And a little bit of harassment there by Purple Wave with the probe, having found Firebat Hero, but now that it's low on health and shield, it's gonna go ahead and just try to keep it alive as long as it can to get information and keep away from the workers. Taking a bit of damage there. Units pathing. And going to happily just go to the natural, check to see what's going on there. Get back into the main. Right here, going to go ahead and start scouting as well, but into the wrong direction. We do have a Marine out here who's going to be able to clean up that probe just fine. And our first Zealot is now out. And coming up, so we'll see what this Zealot will do. Sees what's going on, decides not to engage. Although really the Zealot could potentially take out this one Marine. Now we have the second Zealot here. Will they push in? Actually, this might be a wall. I'm not entirely sure though. They don't look connected, but some walls in StarCraft look kind of funny. I think they are based on the minimap. Oh, able to get a shot there off on the Marine, having to back him up. But yeah, that's looking a bit like a wall of some sort there. Now the tank gonna go ahead and come up and take some shots. Going ahead and taking the natural as well, getting its second gateway. Also getting goon range, almost taking out the Dragoon, which is not what you want to lose. So this is looking like a siege expand from Firebat here. We just got siege mode to finish, moving the tanks up to the cliff edge here, going to siege them, and should be able to safely take this expansion. Nice transfer of the SCVs there. For Firebat here, we're going to go ahead and float out the barracks and land it there to provide some just pathing issues. The Dragoons here staying nice and safely back from the tank range here. Going to go ahead and get a couple of shots off on that SCV, forcing him to move that building back just a little bit, which I believe is an engineering bay. The armory finishing up there in the natural. Going to go ahead and start getting the vehicle weapons upgrade. Protoss a quick fleet beacon. It's going for a 2-base carrier build here by Purple Wave. It looks like Firebat Hero is getting the Goliath, so he did scan and see the Stargates. Not sure if he saw, he probably did see because it's built right there. So more than likely he knows that carriers are going to be coming here. And also knows that carrier investment means that the Protoss ground army is going to be a bit on the smaller side. Purple Wave taking its third over at the other main, that's opposite Firebat Hero. Now getting set up here, getting a quick wall built with a couple of supply depots here. Stationing a tank to protect this. Should be able to safely take this third. This Protoss army is also... It was doing really well with staying out of the tank range, but now it keeps kind of diving in and taking some hits that aren't really necessary. Those SCVs kind of got stuck on the wrong side of the supply depots there, had to be sacrificed. Now moving the Goliaths here, because this base is going to be the first base that's going to be run into by the carriers. This top left base getting established. We've got 2 more carriers under construction here. Or being warped in, however you want to take a look at it. Going to have 4 carriers pretty soon. Purple Wave is aware of this base here. So now the army has relocated here, which has left this nice and safe for Firebat Hero, but not going to really be able to make its way up there. I'm going to go ahead and get taken down by some tanks. Really taking a lot of unnecessary hits here from the tanks, which is one of the things that I notice a lot in these AI games, and it's difficult to deal with, is... You know, and the free scout just going ahead in there, nothing stopping that SCV from seeing what is happening here. Now the carriers are out on the map, but we've only got 4 of them here, and we've got a good amount of Goliaths, so taking out the turret. Now targeting down the Goliaths, it looks like, but leaving that carrier taking a lot of damage. It's gonna fall. But we do have another carrier coming in, and nice building of the turrets. So yeah, Firebat here, it looks like he should be okay with this, I think. Yeah, there's another contingent of Goliaths coming in here to handle the carriers. And having to reproduce all of those lost interceptors. A good amount of interceptors being built at the moment. So yeah, Purple Wave not going to be able to break that. And having a relatively smallish army. Now, the supply is pretty high, though, for Purple Wave, because it's mostly invested in these carriers here. And that's a large number of Goliaths with good upgrades. We've got 2-1 upgrades for Firebat Hero. And what are the upgrades on the carriers? Somehow I had a refinery selected. Just one carrier that's not building. Oh, one of the carriers getting picked off over here. So yeah, we've got +2, so I think that's 2 attack. Going on for Purple Wave. A lot of the Zealots just kind of running around, not really targeting anything, unfortunately. The carrier's getting a bit split up here. Getting caught over top of the base here, so getting picked off a bit. Carrier's perhaps not the play Purple Wave wanted to go with here, unfortunately. And now Firebat Hero well ahead in the supply. Going to slowly march forward here. He has reached the middle of the map. Oh. This desynced. Quite hilariously. I'll leave that in. And yeah, a lot of Firebat Hero is killing his own units. What's he doing? So yeah, we'll pick this back up in OpenBW. Be right back. And we're back. And so I believe this is right around where we were. So yeah, looking a lot different when Firebat Hero's own units don't just suddenly start shooting at each other. And also, I think Purple Wave has a bit larger army. So yeah, that game certainly desynced in quite a comical way. And so here we have Firebat Hero pushing towards Purple Wave here. Purple Wave does have army coming from multiple places, as Purple Wave does have gateways up here producing. So could potentially sandwich this, but I think it's a little bit too late. The carrier's not quite able to really push into it, and now some of the carriers trying to do like a backstab type attack, but being forced back by the Goliaths there. The natural falling, so it pretty much desynced right towards the end there. And now, with having cleaned up that natural, going to go ahead and come up here to the mining bases to clean these up. Dragoons not engaging. Being forced back. We do still have some carriers out on the map, but really Firebat Hero able to take care of those without too much issue. all those probes just siege mode, and then they're just all gone. So Firebat Hero taking the middle of the map now. Landing the command center, not even mining from there. Still dealing with some of the carriers here at the natural, but really not too concerned because really Purple Wave only has this base mining and not really able to defend it from this push. So there are still a few carriers causing some problems. Got the SCV production started here in the middle, but now Purple Wave out of income. And it's just going to be a matter of cleaning up the carriers that are here, and as these interceptors are destroyed, Purple Wave's not going to be able to really replace them after a short bit. So overall, just well played by Firebat Hero here. Goliath's too strong. So for game number 4 today, we have Dragons spawning as the Teal Terran down at the bottom right of Circuit Breakers, going up against Banana Brain. spawning as the blue Protoss up at the top left. There are more Firebat hero games from Snail, which we will probably include a few more of those in next week's broadcast. Oops, I have the game sounds muted here. We did not get to hear that beautiful pylon warp sound, but we do get to hear it complete. But yeah, I want to give Chobo a chance to cast some of those games as well, because it is a real gem to be able to have some replays from a player of that caliber. And we also have some more AI versus AI games that were recommended as well, so I'm going to go ahead and give some time to them. Now we do have the barracks going down, the gas coming down for Dragon, so most likely we'll be seeing tech play out of Dragon. And we have Banana Brain here going for a 2-gateway build. No gas yet. I don't know for sure if Banana Brain knows where Dragon is. Doesn't look like it's doing a rush with the 2 gateways. Just going to go ahead and sit back with the Zealots there. Now we are finding Dragon, but we're not going forward with our Zealots. Just going to go ahead and maintain a wall at our ramp while continuing Zealot production. Now the Zealots are going to go ahead and leave just in time for the SCV to find Banana Brain and be able to scout if it wants to. It sees the 2 gateways. It did see at least one of the Zealots that are en route to Dragon right now. Dragon did not get a Vulture, so gonna have to deal... Oops, I moved this darn thing. One of the Marines getting picked off here. Another Marine falling here. Dragon does get a 2 Vultures out now, but gonna lose some... 1, 2 SCVs, 3 SCVs fall, 4 SCVs fall. All of the Marines, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 9 or 10. A lot of workers lost there for Dragon, so that 2 gate really paid for itself there. That did a lot of economic damage. Now these Vultures coming up here, they could do some damage of their own, but now Dragoons are under construction. They could just easily sit on the ramp and block that off. Vultures, though, being forced to come home anyway, as there were some Dragoons in the middle, and coming back up now to give problems to Dragon. Dragon getting mines here. But at this point now, very contained. Not really going to be able to push down this ramp for a short time. Probably going to need siege mode, which I believe it is getting now. No, we're getting ion thrusters, so instead we're going to go ahead for Vulture speed. Trying to push down this ramp. Is able to push this back. There is no detection for Banana Brain. And I think Banana Brain might have some logic where it's like, if I don't have detection, and I see spider mines, just run all the way back. I know there's at least one AI that has that type of logic, and Banana Brain might be one of them. Almost running all the way back into the main and giving up the natural, but realizing it has to stand and fight. Oh, and the mine bugging out, though, on the bridge there. Getting some interesting sound effects noises happening there with that freaking out mine. Oh, there were 2 on top of each other, and so they could not move. Perhaps one of the problems with the way that AIs will sort of stack the mines on top of each other causes some problems where they just... Oh my, so many goons just falling there. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 8 goons, and then that's just allowing Dragon to come into the natural here. Oh, that was such a loss for Banana Brain. Just, oh, so terrible to see it out with Pylon. A Manor Pylon happening in Banana Brain's own natural. Just the Dragoons being forced back here. I don't quite think this push will be the end of Banana Brain, but so much damage being dealt back by Dragon here. The natural not mining. More mines being placed and dragging up to the Dragoons. A 3rd Nexus has finished, but Okay, we do have an observer out now, so the mines are going to be not quite as powerful as they were behind this. We are taking our natural. I don't think we have siege mode yet. We are, okay, we are just started it a little bit ago. Now, Banana Brain with the observer able to prevent any large goop losses, like what happened just a little bit ago, slowly advancing, clearing out those mines, trying to secure its third base so that it is not at the risk of being lost. Now Dragon being forced to retreat back just with some Marines out there. But will siege mode is finished? There is a tank, so the tank could, depending on if it positions well, it's positioning across and it's unsieging while the Dragoons are coming in, and it's going to be able to be picked off here potentially, but there are SCVs repairing. They keep it alive. An SCV does get picked off. But now, why is Dragon advancing forward when really it could just sit back and stabilize? And that's really what I think it needs to do. Instead of trying to push back this Dragoon army, if it would stabilize and pump its tank numbers up a bit, it could really deal with this Dragoon heavy army. But the Dragoon heavy army is falling back. It does not want to engage with this Terran army just yet, which is allowing Dragon to sort of move forward with these two tanks and this vultures here that are sitting in the middle of the army. Banana Brain's army is growing in size still. We're still just at the 3 bases, it looks like. And here, oh, we have the tanks kind of moving forward. We do have some engagement here, but with the tank sieged, gonna back up and down. The tank's very exposed right now. The Dragoons could dive in and take them out if they wanted to, but there are some mines on the left side here that we're protecting. We do have a Reaver now out being picked up by the shuttle, so we do have shuttles. I'm not sure if we have shuttle speed. It looks like we don't. And now the Terran push has reached all the way to the Protoss natural. Tank able to get some shots off here on the army, going ahead and dropping the Reavers there. Looks like we have only the 1 Reaver, but we do have 2 shuttles. So now the Protoss army kind of coming across here. It's sort of at just the right time too, because with the probe transfer happening there, that could have been quite the worker slaughter for Dragon to participate in. Not quite wanting to come across this minefield yet. Does have the observer though, which is hanging out with the shuttle. Now we are able to see there was like a Zealot and Vulture there that went up because of the mines. Now we're advancing back, and Dragon really, army is a bit spread, looks to be a bit out of position. A mine being dragged back into the tank there again. And our Banana Brain engaging on 2 fronts, taking out the science facility, taking out the starport, while also having an army fight here on the left side. Zealots coming rushing in here, going to take out the SCVs that are repairing the tank. The tank finally falls. We do have another tank, though, on the low ground. He's trying to put up a fight. Meanwhile, the Reavers are dropping out of the shuttle. A lot of the worker count drastically falling here, down to 26 now for Dragon. This is looking heavily in Banana Brain's favor here. Gonna go ahead and clean up this mineral-only base. Working on the natural as well, but there are tanks on the high ground, which could hold this back for a little bit. But again, unsieging the tanks, trying to push them forward when really they should just sit back and make the Protoss come to them. Very Zealot-heavy army at the moment. Running up into the tanks. There's nothing protecting the tanks, unfortunately, as the main is mined out. Dragon out of minerals, down to a single worker. Banana Brain pulling out the win here on Circuit Breakers. Very well played by both bots. Go ahead and let the cleanup happen here a bit. Just to make sure no surprises. And now we'll go ahead and get into our last game of the day. Final game today, we have recommended monster spawning as the purple Zerg down at the bottom left of Circuit Breakers, going up against Banana Brain spawning as the blue Protoss up at the top left. So I think this is our first PVZ or ZVP, depending on the perspective you want to look at it as, of today. So we do see the first pylon going down here for Banana Brain. And then could have scouted with the worker that went to build that pylon, but instead scouted with a different one. That's alright, just delays things a little bit here. And now we'll see the Forge coming down. So Forge first expansion, it looks like, which is a good choice given that the spawning pool is already going halfway done about for Monster here. Gonna need to get a few cannons to protect against the Zerglings that are surely going to be popping out here. We only have 2... we got a drone instead, so not really going to go Zergling heavy here. Now we are getting another Zergling. I thought we were going to see just a pack of 3 Zerglings built here, but Monster, seeing what's up, sees the Nexus here, sees the cannon, knows, okay, this is a Forge fast expand. I'm not really going to be pressured. I don't necessarily have to pressure, so I'm going to go ahead and take his natural now as well. Banana Brain. Monster trying to see what it can scout in here. Getting that Zergling picked off, though, by the cannon. And Gateway is just about to finish the other Zergling that was over here at the choke. Goes ahead and moves up to keep an eye on things. Now that the Nexus is finished here, there is a probe transfer. That could be done a little bit sooner in order to time up with the completion of the Nexus, but really just a little bit of efficiency that could be added, not really hurting the AI too much there. Let's see, we do have a Zealot out now trying to deal with this drone. Looks like it may have got itself stuck after trying that attack and having it fail. Curious if this up. Okay, now the Zealot does move. It's going to close in on that drone. And we have 3 gateways being tossed on, 4 gateways being tossed on, so we're jumping up to 5 here, getting a second cannon. Looks like Monster is getting a Spire, so going to go for a Mutalisk inspired play here. Some nice building placement here by Banana Brain. Banana Brain getting out its Dragoon's going to go ahead and force these Zerglings back. Spire just finishing. Now we are getting some Sunkens, which is a good response to these units moving out here. Trying to catch those scouting Zerglings. One does happen to make it, but gets caught by the reinforcements, and then going to go ahead and get sandwiched there. Again, trying to send out more Zerglings to see what's up, but what's up is that these Dragoons are in your base, and losing a couple of Dragoons to Sunken Fire there, really shouldn't want to engage that just yet. Is at least 1, 2, there's 8 Mutalisks out on the field, harassing the natural of Banana Brain here, getting some probe kills. The worker count for Banana Brain falling down a bit here, down to 37, 38. So it did get some kills until the Dragoons returned here. Now we do have the Corsair out on the field. That should help against these Mutalisks, and with the Corsair we have Scourge coming out now. And a lot of probe deaths here. The natural is now clean. Banana Brain down to 33 workers. Repopulating it though very quickly with the probes from the main. You have some Spore colonies going down for Monster. Meanwhile, Banana Brain is teching up to the Templar Archives. Ooh, nice snipe of the Corsair there. Not what you want to see as the Protoss. But getting what might have been not quite the final Mutalisk, because the ball here is a bit damaged in the yellow health, it looks like, for all of them. We've got the little Scourge circle. Oh no, the newly printed Corsair is just coming down to disintegrate to the Scourge very quickly. Very, very hypnotizing circle going on there for the Scourge until they find something there to destroy. Meanwhile, Monster has expanded down here to the bottom middle base. Now, Banana Brain trying to do another poke in here again, but there are a nice number of sunken colonies. But this is keeping the Mutalisks back for Monster, not really able to harass this natural here, which really these cannons are not positioned to defend at all. There's all this nice space here when these Dragoons are away to have some fun. Another Corsair coming down. to the natural. Not really going to be able to do a whole lot here. Mutalisk trying to do some work against these Mutalisks, but not able to do a lot on its own. Gets picked off by a Scourge in the end, and then the Mutalisks coming back up here to harass the space and pull this army back. Very nice Mutalisk control, dealing with this, oh, nice storm, but able to dodge the storm somewhat easily, getting a few more shots off with this Mutalisk, pulling the damaged one back home to go ahead and heal. Finding the space here, taking it out before the cannon can complete, but the Dragoon's going to chase these Mutalisks back. And now they're not in a great position here because they can't really escape easily, but they're going to take as many drones as they can. Getting a fair number of them, but Banana Brain's still up to 65 workers. Meanwhile, Monster has been droning behind this very heavily, up to 53 workers on 3 bases. The Protoss army trying to do a counter, throwing a few storms down, but Monster very good at dodging them. Does have lurkers now, though, and a good sunken front here. So it's a little bit of damage being done, but frankly, not enough here. Monster looking pretty comfortable still at the moment, but the Protoss is up 1 base. Monster is trying to get this bottom right base here established. And I don't think Banana Brain is aware of it just yet. A lot of buildings being warped in right now. Looks like more Stargates, more gateways. So Banana Brain really wanting to crank up its macro here and getting a 5th base as well. Out expanding the Zerg. Trying to get some sunken colonies here to protect this this new main. But really, instead of protecting that, could just go ahead and try and snag this natural here. And then build your defenses up here to keep that safe. These Mutalisks causing a lot of trouble trying to find cannons where it can before they complete. Trying to pick off probes where it's possible as well, but not enough Mutalisks to one-shot the probes, being forced to pull back here. Large Protoss force here. Split up a little bit, having a little bit of trouble with the Scarab shots there, but being forced to pull back a bit. I hear some units loading up in a Overlord, but I'm not quite sure where that was or for what purpose. Looks like this Overlord's trying to move somewhere, but having a bit of problem. We have the Protoss trying to hit this base down here. The Sunken's position back. There's some Dragoons that tried to come around the back door, but got pushed back by the Sunken's there. And this section of the base is a bit exposed, but the Zerg units coming back in to defend. Nice Lurker getting picked off by the Scarab there. More gas being taken for Monster. Its army composition is pretty gas heavy. We have nice Mutalisks here. Just checking the upgrades really quick here. They are at 1-1. Or at least one attack. No, we're at 1-2, sorry. It looks like. A lot of production going on for both sides. Monster giving itself some breathing room. It did establish the natural here and got some defenses. So no real good places for Banana Brain to attack, except maybe this bottom middle here, if it can squeeze in here. But if it does, it'll get attacked essentially from all sides. It's a pretty large Protoss force. They're moving down here. There is no Dark Swarm for Monster at this point. Looked like it was supply block there for just a little bit. Protoss army trying to engage, but the Zealots just melting with this Hydralisk Lurkers behind the Zerglings with the Sunken. The Sunken does fall, though, and the Reavers come down, taking out some of the... Oh, and one of the Reavers does get picked off with the shuttle being able to... The shuttle that was ferrying it being able to retreat safely. So Monster has pretty much this bottom half of the map. And now, was trying to take this other main. It looks like there is a Lurker there causing some problems along with a drone, but with this cannon finishing, it's not in range of the cannon, so gonna get some nice free kills with that Lurker there. Meanwhile, at the natural of Monster, we see Banana Brain trying to poke in again, but not quite able to. Quite the large Zerg force here, able to push this back. Monster trying, looks like it's not quite sure where it wants to attack. I'm not really committing, though. Now it does have the larger chunk of its army coming in here. And now Monster's army kind of getting sandwiched, forced to run to the right here to the protection of these Sunkens. I don't think this force is quite enough to clear this, but gonna get some drone kills, which will certainly help. Monster down to 45 workers now. Yeah, gonna do some damage here, but not able to clean that base off for good. Gonna be forced to go back a little bit, but now we're almost at base parity here. This bottom, or this natural here not quite being able to be taken. Some harassment trying to happen here, but the base is mined out. The third almost mined out for Banana Brain, so chewing through a lot of resources here, both of them. But with the smaller worker count, it's looking like Monster might have more. Actually, it looks like the Protoss is up by about 2 bases, I would wager. So has more mining base. Actually, I think they have about the same mining bases though still. Banana Brain going ahead and taking the left base here, while Monster goes in and takes the right base. So at this point, they pretty much have the map split. Monster choosing to not take its mineral-only bases, though. I do hope to see it take those before it runs out of minerals, though. No Archons on the field for Banana Brain, but we are seeing more High Templar. Are a couple up. There's an Archon, but gonna fall very quickly because there were no other units supporting. Now really, oh, the shuttle's getting caught by the Scourge there. I've got the High Templar coming down here, but nothing really protecting them except for this one Dark Templar, so I'm not sure what we're going to do here. Meanwhile, there is a fight going on in the middle that is turning for Banana Brain. And now the High Templar just chilling out here. The Dark Templar doing a little dance with the burrowed circling there. Kind of silly to see. These High Templar are really not doing much at the moment. Banana Brain kind of struggling to get its army together here. These High Templar are still just standing there menacingly. Oh, we do have a storm going off here. Some units getting caught in it, but Monster very good at dodging those storms. Now we have the Templar group able to get a storm off on these lurkers here. Could have got a second one off to kill them. Oh, kills an egg, it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and work an Archon there once they are out of energy. Let's see, he's trying to push through this hill again here. Also trying to not get surrounded by Zerg. Zerg really low on minerals and gas here. This natural's going to be out soon. This bottom mid is running low, starting to run low as well. Monster could really use taking these mineral-only bases, but it looks like it's just refusing to do so for now. This far right base was cleaned up, it looks like, by Banana Brain. Drones unburrow, which is going to go ahead and get them killed. There is an observer for this, so they would have probably got killed anyway. Meanwhile, there's this large push going on here at the natural of Monster. Looks like gonna be tough to hold. I think we might be able to hold this with the reinforcements here. The Dragoons being pushed back across the bridge for right now. Trying to get these Sunkens back here. Monster really struggling with the minerals. Going ahead and now finally taking the mineral only, which is what it needs to do here. And Banana Brain going ahead and taking that mid-right position. Monster just holding on, but I don't really see any Hive Tech coming out. And I don't think the Zergling Hydralisk army is going to be enough on its own. The Sunkens at this bottom middle finally fall. Storm on the Overlords where they go ahead and split for a little bit, but then want to come right back to where they were. With the death of that spore colony, it's interesting we do see the Overlords kind of split some over towards the left and then some over towards the right, probably running to other spore colonies for protection from these Corsairs. But now with that bottom right that bottom right there and this middle only destroyed, we do have some pressure on one of the only one out of 2 mining bases for Monster in the burrow there. Really cutting into the income for Monster. This natural is going to fall. Looks like this natural not faring so well itself either, but really this natural is only just protecting the tech buildings in the main at this point, and preventing some macro storm on the drones, at least getting one. A couple more drones being picked off here in this transfer to somewhere that they were trying to go. And really it is not looking good for Monster at this point. Banana Brain here. Yep, and Banana Brain tapping out, giving, or sorry, not tapping out, Banana Brain. Monster tapping out, giving the GG to Banana Brain. Very well played game there. A lot of fun games this week. We still have some that are recommended in the channel. And again, you can always, if you have a game that you want to see casted here, you can recommend it. There's a good chance that we'll pick it up and we'll cast it here. The link to the SSCAIT Discord will be in the description below. Let's go ahead and check that out. As well as on the SSCAIT Twitch page, the games are streamed pretty often. There's also the Basil ladder. And as mentioned by Chobo last week, the Schnail ladder is also streaming its replay repository, I guess you could say. Still going on, it looks like 24/7 essentially, using the OpenBW replay viewer, but it's a slightly modified one where you can see the fog of war and everything, so that will also be linked in the description below, so you can check that out. So while in between casts, you can get your fill of StarCraft AI. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week, and until next one, take care, everyone.